They're taking black jobs now.
Were those questions given to you by the White House, or did you have, or the campaign, or did you have to submit questions ahead of this interview?
The questions were sent to me for approval. I approved them.
Okay, so the White House sent the questions to you ahead of the interview.
Yes.
No, God!
A few moments later.
Olga?
Yeah.
You're fired.
You can't fire me. I'm the only woman of color, and I will sue your.
Excuse me, where's the manager? Hi, I saw your help wanted sign.
What's going on, guys? We got a quick update about this story that I basically just posted either yesterday or a couple hours ago about this radio host for WURD radio. So these guys were trying to interview Joe Biden to basically lend this guy a helping hand, uplift him from his horrific debate performance. And unfortunately for this black woman who literally was out here being a Biden propagandist for him, she ended up being fired, terminated from her position. Okay, another black job gone thanks to Bidenomics.
They're taking black jobs now.
Okay, unfortunately, Bidenomics took another job away from a black person, which a lot of the woke left is swearing is not happening because they keep parading around this unemployment number. But it seems to me like black folks are struggling, and you can see firsthand that a black person has now lost their job, even though they vehemently were a Biden defender. Take a look.
He's talked about, debt, student debt relief. He's talked about pouring money into creating spaces for black-owned businesses so that we can grow our wealth. He's talked about, putting $16 billion into HBCUs. The man is one of the few people, and that includes Barack Obama, former President Barack Obama, who has just really honed in and focused in on people of color in this country. And then he went further to create spaces where we have the most black justices, the black judges, federal judges. He's the only president that's created that many black judges in the country. So we have to look at his record, right? Not just look at his frailty. And as someone who's from the island of Jamaica, I tell people all the time, we have to stop discarding our elderly. Right? They've not lost their minds. They've not done, they've worked so hard to get to where they are. And yes, we slow down as we get older and our bodies move a little slower. But we tend to be moved by what we see people doing, how charismatic they are, and not by the truths or untruths we hear.
Later.
The Philadelphia radio host who interviewed President Biden last week has resigned from WURD radio. Andrea Lawful-Sanders, who hosted The Source, asked Biden 4 questions about what's at stake in this election. She later admitted the questions were pre-selected by Biden's campaign team. The president and CEO of the radio station says that asking those specific questions jeopardizes the truth of its listeners. Lawful-Sanders and the station agreed to mutually part ways.
I don't think the issue here is that she necessarily just did this interview and did softball questions and even had pre-approved the questions. I think the issue is that she exposed WURD for having this type of practice. The issue is that they were exposed, that it came to light. You're not supposed to give away the fact that you are doing fake news and that you're fake journalist. Okay, you're not supposed to give that away. You're not supposed to give away that you are propagandists. You're supposed to do it and then deny it. But if you have pre-approved questions and you admit that, you have no deniability. You're supposed to have WikiLeaks expose you, and then you can prosecute somebody for exposing you for being a whistleblower. You're not supposed to actually expose yourself. It all comes down to it. That really is what the core issue is. Now I'm going to read just a little bit of article here from New York Post. So this is terribly bright. I know that changed my whole color palette and changed up. All right, so radio station cuts ties with host who reveals she asked Biden questions fed to her by the president's team. Okay, so let's take a quick look here. A Philadelphia radio station has cut ties with the host who admitted to asking President Biden questions that were supplied to her by his team. WURD radio's leadership confirmed on Sunday. So Andrea Lawful-Sanders previously hosted The Source for WURD, scored the first post-debate interview, okay? I guess that worked out pretty well for you, unfortunate. However, on Saturday, she revealed to CNN's First of All with Victor Blackwell that she was fed 8 questions by Biden's team and used 4 of them as her queries to the president. Okay, so this person was literally, she didn't even come up with the questions, and then Biden's team approved them. Biden's team sent her questions. Hey, ask me this. This is what I'm agreeing to answer. That's what happened. Insanity. I mean, not really. I mean, this is pretty much what I expect, but in saying that, she admitted, you can't be that smart if you came right out and admitted this. Sarah Lomax, WURD Radio's president and CEO, said Sunday that they were not involved in negotiations for the interview. Now, I'm not even sure about that. Like, sometimes they might even have a non-disclosure agreement where you can't even talk about it, because I'm not really sure that I buy that. I feel like an interview with the president is kind of a big deal. I feel like the CEO would have at least known about it and known about the details of it. Even if they weren't a part of the negotiations, they knew the terms that were negotiated. I can assure you of that. The interview featured predetermined questions provided by the White House, which violates our practice of remaining an independent media outlet accountable to our listeners. I don't necessarily agree that there was a problem with that, because until she said something to CNN, this lady did not get fired. Soon as you got all of these stories coming out, all of these journalists coming out, the CNN exposing y'all, now all of a sudden it's an issue. Would this lady have been fired, let's say, if we didn't know about this? I don't think so. Y'all let me know in the comments if y'all think the issue is that the answers or the questions were given it. The White House, the ones who gave it to her. Do you guys think the issue is that the White House gave her the questions, or do you think the issue is that WURD was exposed and they didn't appreciate that? Y'all let me know. Continuing here, WURD Radio has cultivated the trust with our audience for over a 20-year history. This is something we take very seriously. Lies. Agreeing to a predetermined set of questions jeopardizes that trust. Of course it does, when people know about it. Black media has a long history of advocating for the interests of the Black community. This practice of delegitimizing Black voices continues today. WURD is not a mouthpiece for Biden or any other administration. Well, I mean, this lady was, so I mean, technically speaking, maybe they didn't really like liberals over there. And maybe she kind of infiltrated. I mean, this is like the classic tactic of liberals, to infiltrate everything and destroy it from within. Even more interesting is after this Sanders lady was fired, then you have another guy, Earl Ingram. He also admitted that he had these pre-screened, pre-approved questions sent to him from the White House. Okay, so both of these Black radio hosts were basically shilling for the radical, tyrannical left. According to New York Post here, it says he too was given questions in advance and chose to use them. The Biden-Harris campaign has been adamant that the White House did not manage the process. Lies. Do you guys really think you could trust the Biden-Harris White House at this point? These are the same guys who said that Joe Biden was as sharp as a tack.
He is sharp, intensely probing, and detail-oriented and focused.
This is a man who is sharp, who is on top of his game, who knows what's going on.
This guy's tough. He's smart. He's on his game. His mental acuity is great.
This is a very sharp president.
This is a man that's on his game.
President Biden is absolutely fit.
There's not a problem.
He's sharp, he's fit, he's always answering questions.
He is on the ball. He was sharper than anyone I've spoken to.
He is sharp. He is on top of things.
There's no doubt in my mind that the president is mentally fit for office.
Biden has proven himself to have a strong memory.
He's completely mentally sharp.
He's at the top of his game.
Okay, you can't trust a damn thing that the White House says. And it's funny because they keep trying so much stuff and they keep getting exposed and they just don't learn. They're not being smart here. You think they would be like more intelligent and more honest, because things can work out being intelligent and honest people, guys. I promise you it can. You just gotta do it right. You gotta be smart and intelligent and honest. But if you're dumb liars like a lot of the folks on the radical left, especially some of these people at the top. It's like, how the hell y'all get such high positions being this dumb? Things tend to fall apart. Maybe you get that high, but you're gonna fall down really hard and really fast, as you can see what's going on here today. Continuing here, while interview hosts have always been free to ask whatever questions they please, false, moving forward, we will refrain from offering suggestions. Notice how they use a key word here. So guys, this is the stuff that the people don't pick up on. But of course, you're watching the Black Anomaly Rising channel where I will absolutely pick up on this. They said we will refrain from offering suggested questions, meaning that we may still offer them. They didn't say, well, we will not offer them. They're saying we will refrain from offering. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. They didn't say we will not. There's a big difference. It's called implicit versus explicit language. If it's not explicit, I will not do this, then it's a bunch of bullshit, okay? In terms of this lady and her black job, do I have any sympathy for her loss here? I mean, absolutely not. I mean, she definitely was shilling for the left. I don't know if the clip was gonna be in earlier or later on in the video, but she definitely was shilling for the left, particularly when Joe Biden said the thing about how he was a black woman.
I'm proud to be, as I said, the first vice president, the first black woman, served with a black president.
Did you hear, as it's being covered, the president say that he was proud to be the first black woman president? Because that's what the headlines all over the internet are suggesting.
I find it interesting that they saw and heard that. What I got from him was that he was intimating that Kamala Harris was the first black woman vice president. And I guess with his speech impediment, they heard something else. And I find it interesting that that was the only thing that they picked out of that entire conversation.
Now, I actually agree with her that obviously Joe Biden was talking about Kamala and Ketanji Brown Jackson rather than himself. But again, he slurred his speech. I do think it's good to point out that, yes, he did screw up again. However, it was obvious that this was like one of his kind of like lesser screw ups. However, the fact that she so vehemently defended it definitely made her look like a radical leftist, not to mention some of the other things that she said. And I can see why this place wanted to get rid of her, because not only are you literally defending Joe Biden, but you're also exposing him at the same time, and you're exposing our organization, the WURD, which makes just everybody just looks bad. Joe Biden looks bad, you look bad, and the radio station looks bad on the whole. So this lady is kind of a screw up, and in my opinion, kind of deserves to be fired.
They're taking black jobs now.
That's it for this story, guys, but I'm sure there's going to be a lot more, because it seems like the radical leftist just does not learn. They just keep doing dumb stuff. They're going to keep doing dumb stuff because they're dishonest liars, and there's a bunch of pawns of the left, okay? A bunch of mouthpieces, a bunch of propagandists, and they're going to keep exposing themselves. The only thing that's going to happen is they're probably inevitably going to get better at it. It's like practicing anything. You practice anything, including lying, eventually you will be a masterful liar. And that's what the left is working on now. That doesn't mean that they're ever going to be successful in the end, but that's because we're going to be standing in their way every step of the way, every day on this channel, on other channels, in the streets, in the voting, everything that we can possibly do, we're going to do to delegitimize them and make sure that the radical left, with all the lies and tyranny and fascism and communism, is totally defeated. Drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new. I appreciate you watching the Black Anomaly Rising channel. I'm out.
Got him!
Gotcha, bitch!